Okay, so on this episode, it's all about the preparation of the helmet. And before we start sanding, before we start scuffing things up, we want to use some kind of cleaner to clean the surface. This helmet is dirty. It's a good idea to use wax and grease remover for the helmet. If you don't have wax and grease remover, you can just actually use rubbing alcohol. I have mine in just a regular bottle. I put the thing there, and I just use that with some napkins. The next thing you're gonna need is lacquer thinner. The reason why you need this stuff is to wipe off all the rubbers. So like these rubbers right here, this is a piece of rubber, it's not plastic. So it's like a trim that goes underneath the helmet. And also inside here there are rubbers. So I'm not gonna be removing those rubbers. It's a pain to do that, and you could easily damage it as well. That's what we're gonna use to do our first pass of the taping. So if you notice, with this tape, it's easy to do all the bends, and because this tape is flexible, it's easy to do all the taping very nice and tight. If we don't clean it with thinner, that tape is not gonna stick. So that's the first step, cleaning everything up. You wanna remove those stickers, and if they have any residue glue, you can use alcohol to remove it, or if it's super stubborn, you can actually use thinner. If you find your sticker is really hard to remove, like this one, it's just breaking apart, there are two ways we can remove them, two other ways. One of them is use a heat gun, heat it up, and then remove it. And the second method is to use a wheel eraser for removing decals. I don't know if I'm gonna need to do that, but if I don't do it, just look it up in a different video. It's called wheel decal remover or decal eraser. All these plastics here, there's a vent. There's a vent right here, and there's also a vent right here in the front, and a vent here on the top, right here. I'm just leaving those there. All of them are gonna get painted. The only thing I'm gonna get rid of is the logo, and those things are double-sided. They use double-sided tape to stick them there. So I actually don't care if I break this one. When working on something like a helmet that you need to mask and then sand, you're gonna need to do a couple rounds of taping. So the first round of taping is for sanding. So for taping this, I'm just gonna be using cheap, basically house painting tape. There is automotive tape for the sanding part. I mean, even for the painting, I can just use this. The difference between these tapes and the automotive tapes is that when the wax and grease remover hits this tape, it's gonna release all the glue and it's gonna leave a mess behind. So I don't have any automotive tape right now, and I'm just gonna use this for now. But if you have automotive tape, or if you can buy automotive tape, sometimes even find it at auto parts. It's easy to find in stores like that. Now it's the time to just start sanding this. For that, I'm gonna do that in the garage. So for sanding this helmet, I'm using a red scuff pad and 400 grit sandpaper. This is flexible sandpaper, but you can use any automotive. Basically, what we're creating here is just a surface that the paint will mechanically stick to. the paint already has glues and stuff and adhesion stuff that allows it to stick, but we are facilitating that process by creating a tooth basically on the surface. One little tip here is when you're sanding parts like this one that open and close, or like the vent up here that opens and closes, stick to one thing. Basically, either select, is it gonna be closed when you sand it, or is it gonna be open? Okay, so for my base coat, I'm just gonna use my spray gun, just make it easier for me. And I'm also gonna be using a PPS cup, just because I'm using a spray gun makes it easier. What you see here on the cup is I put a little bit of the UVLS clears from Creatix. I already put a little bit there, just so that it helps with the adhesion. Not needed, it's not needed, but I already had a little bit on the cup. So next thing I'll use is some Wicked Opaque White, and what I'm looking for is a white color. I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow and orange, but really what I want, it's a really light color. I actually never use Angelus paint, and in one of my following videos I'm actually gonna be using this for the first time. This is a brand new bottle, just open it for this, so I don't know how that's gonna work out, but okay, very yellow right now. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of orange because I want it to be slightly orange yellow. What's important is that it's a light color, and it's also gonna give me a little bit. It's also gonna give me a little bit of the undertones. So before I continue, and I forget showing you this part, this is already masked and sanded, and I'm just ready to spray now. But before I continue, I want to show you the wax and grease remover that I use. In one of my videos I got the question of which one I use, and this is the one I use. Yeah, there's nothing more to it. So it's called Finish One, and I got this from Sherwin-Williams. The reason why I'm showing you this specific one is because if you work with Creatix colors or something like a water-based color, if you use a wax and grease remover, you have a chance of wiping off the paint. Like you come and you do the artwork, and then you come and start cleaning it. A lot of the wax and grease removers, especially the cheaper ones, will tend to wipe off your artwork, and you're gonna have a disaster. This one however, it's a lot better. Like you can wipe the artwork that you create, and I have never had issues with this one, but make sure you test on your own paints, okay, so that you don't make a mess. But this is the one I use, and it works really good for me. The next stuff that you're gonna need is it's called a tack cloth, and this is the brand I've used since I was an automotive painter. So the way it works is before you spray the paint, you remove this, and you just basically remove any floating dust parts or whatever. As you can see, this is very dirty right here, so I need to change when I'm gonna spray this. But you want to do the tacking before. You want to run the tack cloth all over the place before you spray it.